si Prof Riri ni dia lebih kurang macam apa tu, siapa yang QS tu, saya lupa nama dia yang QS ni.
Professor Insinyur T.S. Dr. Noor Kamaria Nordin, Project Leader, Malaysia Sustainable Campus Network, My Son. Professor Dr. Insinyur Riri Fitrisari, Chairperson, UI Green Metric. Dr. Nyoman Suwarta, Vice Chair of Administration, Research and Development, UI Green Metric. Assistant Professor Junaidi, Vice Chair of Program, Communication and Partnership, UI Green Metric. University leaders and all participants of the 7th workshop on UI Green Metric World University Rankings. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening, everyone. Welcome back to IWGM 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a well-accomplished keynote speaker, and before she begins her speech, let me introduce this dynamic lady to everyone. Professor Insinyur T.S. Dr. Noor Kamaria Nordin, or fondly known as Prof. NK, is a professor of wireless communication engineering, professional engineer, professional technologist. Professor Noor Kamaria has held many administrative posts, among them as Dean, Faculty of Engineering until July 2021, Director, Corporate Strategy and Communications Office, Director, Corporate Planning Division, Deputy Director, Corporate Planning Division. And Professor Noor Kamaria is also a visiting scholar at DISP Laboratory, University of Lumière, Lyon, France. She also has a research attachment with University of Bradford, United Kingdom. And ladies and gentlemen, Professor Noor Kamaria also secured 3 European Union Erasmus projects totaling 1.5 million euros, and she will share one with us today. Professor Insinyur T.S. Dr. Noor Kamaria is the project leader of Malaysia Sustainable Campus Network, My Son. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor to invite Professor Insinyur T.S. Dr. Noor Kamaria Nordin to deliver the keynote speech.
Thank you, Madam Iza. Let me share my slide, but for this, Professor Dr. Engineer Riri Fitrisari, Chairperson of UI Green Metric, Dr. Nyoman Suwarta, Vice Chair of Administration, Research and Development, UI Green Metric, Assistant Professor Junaidi, Vice Chair of Program Communication and Partnership, UI Green Metric, university leaders and all participants of the 7th workshop on UI Green Metric World University Ranking. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to all of you. So let me share my slides for today. Yeah, today I'll be talking about, hold on. Today I'll be talking about how we incorporate SDG in our engineering curriculum. And I'm trying to remove my, the way we, hold on, let me hide some of this self-view. Okay, so I'll be talking to you about how we incorporate SDG in engineering curriculum, and this is based on our practice at Faculty of Engineering, and this is my team, Dr. Lukman, Dr. Liu, and Prof. Aliani, Prof. Adwati, and also Dr. Fazirul and Prof. Ahmad Zaharin. I think some of you may know many of them, yeah. And Prof. Adwati will be chairing some of the session this evening in session C, if I'm not mistaken. So let me start. Let us look at the content for tonight. Yeah, I'll take this advantage to introduce engineering, Faculty of Engineering to you, and also to give you overview of engineering, overview of my son. Yeah, that was introduced by Madam Iza just now. And I'll be sharing with you the engineering curriculum incorporating SDG, and we'll do a short recap. Okay, I'll try to keep the time because I was given 15 minutes. I'll make it quick. Yeah, I will introduce a Faculty of Engineering, which we have 8 undergraduate program, Bachelor of Engineering, ranging from aerospace, agriculture to to electrical, electronics, mechanical, process and food. And we also have 14 Masters of Engineering by taught course, yeah, from aerospace, communication to water. And we also have 9 NEC, National Education Code, 9 Masters and PhD research area um, um, for Masters and PhD that we offer at the faculty. Okay, and statistically, we have more than 200 academic staff with 141 non-academic, and we have close to 3,000 undergraduate and postgraduate with a proportion of 38 professor, 93 associate professors, and 90 lecturers. So enough of the faculty. So let me go through a short introduction of my son, which is Malaysian Sustainable University Campus Network. And this is a This is a European Union under Erasmus Plus project. It is a national structural project under Region 6, which is involved with governance, strategic planning, and management of higher education. It is under Category 2, improving the management of higher education, management and operation of higher education institution. So that is the theme of the project. But I'm not going to talk about the project so much, but it is more of the, I'm into SDG 4 today on quality education, where we will talk about the incorporation of SDG in the curricula. So for my son, the aim is to promote Malaysia as a sustainability, as living lab for sustainability and energy efficiency, with the objective to build human capacities in university campuses, sustainability and energy efficiency, and to develop platform and to support a culture of sustainability campus through establishment of My Son Network, which we'll be working on now, and the delivery of MOOC on sustainability initiative. Yeah, and we are halfway of the project. It is almost 1.5 years now. The project is a 3-year period. Yeah, and it is a collaboration of 8 university Malaysian partners, in which UPM is the leader, and 7 others are UITM, University Technology Mara in Shah Alam, and University Utara Malaysia in the north, University Malaysia Sabah, University Malaysia Sarawak, University Malaysia Pahang, and also University Technology Malaysia in the south. Yeah, so it covers the whole Malaysian geography. Yeah, and it also supported by Jabatan Pendidikan Tinggi, which is the the Department of Higher Education under the Ministry of Higher Education. Yeah, and we have 3 partners with the European university, one in Italy, Unigay in Genoa, and one in FAUANM in Graz, Austria, and also University of Alicante in Alicante, Spain. So let me get my glasses. Okay, and it costs, the project costs almost 1 million euro, which consists of equipment cost, cost of stay, travel costs, and we're having problem finishing this travel cost because due to this COVID, when we got it in 2020, we did the kickoff, but after that we cannot travel anymore, and even within Malaysia, so we cannot travel. So it is. So it's almost 200,000 euros is not yet spent. Okay, and let us get back to business, how we incorporate SDG in UPM engineering curriculum. Yeah, and Engineering Accreditation Council require that our curriculum include mathematical techniques. Without calculus, you cannot be in engineering, right? So mathematical techniques, technical subjects, co-curriculum subjects, and also technical communication subjects. And it also, we should also include technical proficiency in a major field. We have 8 major fields just now. Yeah, so we have to have technical proficiency in those major fields, including ability to tackle wide variety of practical problems, and a professional attitude toward matters such as design, reliability, and maintenance. But the most important thing is on sustainability and environment. That is how we proactively include SDG in our curriculum. So recently, UNESCO and International Engineering Alliance and World Forum of Engineering Organization working group has introduced SDG, has reviewed the graduate attributes of engineering recently in June 2020 to include UN sustainable goals in the development of our solution of any engineering solution. We have to address UN sustainable goals. So we take that as a cue to proactively include SDG in our curriculum during our recent review for curriculum of 2021 to 2025. Okay, so we don't address all 17 in all the curriculum, but we introduce and we focus specific SDG in specific courses. So I'm just going to share with you one of the course, but if you look at the 12 engineering outcomes, the two of them include sustainability specifically. Yeah, one is in engineers and society outcomes, and also environment and sustainability, where we call it program outcome 6 and program outcome 7. Yeah, and these two program outcomes are addressed in these three courses. In these three example of courses, there are many other courses that address those outcomes, but I'm going to elaborate on more on engineers and society, because if the content is already having SDG, it is easily translated in classes. But if it's not, like engineers and society, it is really dry course. Yeah, when I say dry, it is about codes and ethics and about regulation and standards. Yeah, so it's not on SDG per se, but we deliver it using sustainable goals using SDG. Yeah, so the course or the subject did not have to have a content of SDG, but we can still deliver it using SDG approach. So that's what we did. Yeah, and we choose this 4 specific SDG element, which is quality education, ensuring inclusive and quality education for all, and promote lifelong learning. We also include SDG 13, climate action, to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact, and life below water, conserve and sustainability, use the ocean, seas and marine, and also SDG 15 on I can't see it. I'm sorry. Let me hide the way it is shown. So, okay. I'm sorry. Let me try to optimize my view here, because I cannot see some of the. Okay, I can see it now. All right. Okay. Oops, I'm going further up. I'm sorry. So SDG 15 is life on land, on how sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and how we stop and reverse land degradation and stop biodiversity losses. Yeah, and how we did it is this is a course that I tried to share with you, and this course is actually conducted by Professor Adwati Sali. Yeah, it is a Engineers and Society course, ECV 3001, and the way we conduct it is through community-based learning approach. Yeah, and the community that we choose is Mangrove Recreational Park in Sijangkang, Selangor, and the community that we chose as our trainee is actually the Form 4 students, or the Form 4 school-going children. Yeah, and we developed a webinar on IoT for mangrove ecosystem, and because this project, this course is don't have any projects, so their project is just to develop the webinar. We paired these students. We paired our engineers and society students with another project, Meta, that we receive under different grant, yeah, on sustainable aquatic resource management and mangrove ecosystem via Internet of Things, or in short, it is Meta. So we use this project to educate our students so that our student can impart that knowledge to Form 4 students. So this is the community-based learning that we are talking about. Yeah, and the approach is more delivering SDG into the classroom. Yeah, and to our surprise, even our students are not familiar with mangrove ecosystems. Yeah, and they thought it's just a mysterious swamps that serve no purpose. The little that they know that it is a breeding grounds and early growth areas of various species of ocean life living on coral reefs, and that contribute to coastal protection from erosion and protect the environment from extreme weather changes. And it is also important in maintaining water quality, trapping sediments and filtering pollutants. Yeah. Many of them didn't realize that we need to protect this mangrove because there's a lot of habitat there. Yeah, and that's why we propose that a faculty of agriculture proposed this project. Meta, Sustainable Aquatic Resource Management in Mangrove Ecosystem with IoT application to handle threats to our mangrove in terms of climate change, logging, aquaculture, agriculture, and pollution. Yeah. So based on that proposal, so that is we deploy IoT with a specific mangrove recreational park, and this is what we show our students so that they can learn and explain that to the community, which is the Form 4 school going children. Yeah, so this is deployment of mangrove recreational park in Sijangkang, where we set up this weather station, and we fix all these sensors at the mangrove tree, and the LoRa node collects all the required sensor data and send it over to LoRa gateway. And the sensor data is correlated with this weather station data, and the gateway send the data to IoT server or IoT server via 4G mobile. So this is the setup that we showed our student at this mangrove recreational park for purpose of monitoring the ecosystem of mangrove. Okay, and this is some of the setup, the picture of the setup where we put our solar system to power up our LoRa gateway, and we put the environment sensor on the lamppost, and we fix some of the sensor, environmental sensor, water level sensor, and also temperature and humidity sensor on the mangrove tree. Okay, and we managed to bring our student to the park. Unfortunately, our student cannot bring the Form 4 school going children to this place because COVID has hit us hard in May. So we thought we could do face-to-face training, but we end up doing webinar. So we only managed to take our own student, but our student cannot take the community or the pupils of Form 4 to the place to really see that the deployment of IoT and the mangrove ecosystem. Okay, and in week 7, we divide our student into 8 groups where they develop, and it has to be interactive enough because it's no longer face-to-face. So they have Kahoot, they have Mentimeter, and even the assessment is done to ensure that learning outcomes is achieved. So they learn to be a teacher because they'll be teaching the school children. Yeah. And this is they conduct the webinar through Google Meet. And it's interesting, some of the title that they have based on the posters: IoT and arts, yeah, and positive impacts of IoT on mangroves, and webinar on IoT for mangrove system. So notice that on mangrove, because they themselves may not understand mangrove, so they thought the school children probably do not know mangrove either, yeah. So what it is for and everything. So it's interesting, some of the posters they have, very creative, yeah. So these are the posters that they put up on the website for the webinar. Yeah, and this is the webinar that will be part on the project, the Meta project, yeah, the sustainable aquatic resource management project that we have, and they part all their webinar there, and that's it actually. So what I'm trying to show to you is we have included SDG element in it, in our curriculum via various subjects. And what I'm trying to show you that is SDG can be introduced in almost any subjects, in any program. It didn't have to be engineering. Even though the content is not SDG, you can always introduce SDG through the delivery approach. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to show to you. And we will continue to include SDG in our subjects to ensure the enculturation of sustainability can be realized. I think that's about it. I hope I didn't take so much time with all the glitches. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam Iza.
Enlightening presentation. Yeah, thank you again. And ladies and gentlemen, we will have a 5-minute break before you join the breakout rooms for further discussions on issues related to the theme of IWGM 2021. You can join the breakout rooms by clicking on the breakout rooms icon on your screen. And for your information, room A will be the main room, and there'll be 2 other breakout rooms. But please wait for a minute before you're allowed in to the breakout rooms. Okay, and the program is also shown live via YouTube, UI Green Metric. Yeah, so you can also go to YouTube to watch the live streaming. And ladies and gentlemen, after session 3, there will also be a 5-minute
Missions meaning we want to be carbon-free university by 2030.
He had to meet in the capital city with the authorities of education. So I will be making the presentation. Capital city with the authorities of education. So I will be making the presentation. Capital city with and I will try to keep under 4 minutes as you have kindly asked us. So the name of the presentation is Advancing University Management During the Pandemic of COVID-19 at the SPOCH. The name of our university is Escuela Superior Politécnica de Chimborazo. It is located in Riobamba with the main campus, and we have two branch campuses with about 20,000 students and faculty in total. Okay, during the pandemic, higher education institutions played a key role into developing and advancing sustainable initiatives. The management at the SPOCH had to look into two different fields, the online field and the physical field. Okay, let's move. In the physical field, we have been creating solutions to fight the pandemic. Some of the solutions include making sanitizing gel out of illegal alcohol. We made 500 liters of antibacterial gel every 3 months from more than 20,000 liters of illegal alcohol. Additionally, in the very beginning of the vaccination process, there were not adequate physical infrastructure for it. So SPOCH led the way and gave the full building of public health so that the government, the local government, could implement the vaccination plan. The sustainable initiatives have continued during the pandemic, most of them in virtual mode, but there have been more than 10 initiatives that have included sustainability into the campus. Also, we have managed waste in the campus of all kinds, including ordinary recyclable, construction waste, and dangerous waste. The biggest part of waste we have been producing is construction because there have been several new buildings. These new buildings are focused on energy efficiency and also accessibility features for people with disabilities. A greener campus is being built by looking into sustainable development.
any questions, please turn on your microphone and ask your question.
Well, on my experience from last session, the question and answer section was at the end, Professor Juris.
All right, we can proceed also then with the rest of presentations. But if I think I shall ask, if possible, few questions to you right away, and then we can hop in with the participants. So from my side, the question would be. So you showed activities corresponding to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in your activity plan. And my question would be how you came up with your priority SDGs. What was the process inside the university? How you thought about these 17 goals and how you came up with whom you're going to work and where you're going to put your activities in and where you're going to focus your energy.
Okay, thank you for the question, Dr. Juris. And well, the vice rector from administrative issues, she saw that there were too much waste being generated on campus. For example, too many plastic wastes there were seen in the campus. So she started by that point. Additionally, with the feedback from UI Green Metric, we have seen that we were having problems into water management and mobility transportation initiatives. So we have used mainly UI Green Metric feedback to try and implement new processes into our universities.
Yes, thank you. And I shall, and I will ask maybe the last question from my side, and then we will move to the next question. During the time of pandemic, of course, you also showed that a lot of events and different things on campus went online and were not present on campus. Question is how you saw, for example, changes in your utilities, meaning in relation to waste management, in relation to energy consumption and things like that. Was there a decrease, or you saw that the university was not consuming as much or from the waste side, or there were no significant changes when students were or were not on the campus? How it happened in your case, and were there any lessons that you learned that you might keep from the pandemic ongoing in management of university campus that could stick around?
That's a very good one. And well, obviously, when you have 20,000 students in one semester, and for the next one you have almost zero, there is a huge difference. So there was yes, almost no waste in the university related to student activities, but the administration has taken this opportunity to change the processes. So right now, almost all the processes in the universities are paperless. Also, the cafeterias were mandated to not use plastic, reduce the use of paper, and also don't sell straws anymore. So yes, those are the lessons we have got.
Mr. Chairman, there is a question from the chat. Can I read it?
Please.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
Hi, Sir Rafael. How did you manage your COVID-related waste in the campus? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Internally, the university takes care of organic wastes, but for the other kind of waste, especially COVID-related, we have partnered with public institutions. So the city council of Riobamba, the city we live in, they took care of all those residues and manage them in a responsible way. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much. If we will have some time, we will jump back and ask Rafael more questions. But now I thank you, Rafael, very much for your interesting presentation. And I think you have some good things going on, and I hope I will have a chance to visit your institution and see with my own eyes on how great you are doing one day. So let's move forward to our next speaker. And our next speaker is Professor Suyeva Amarsana, Vice Chancellor from University of Ruhuna in Sri Lanka. And she's going to be talking about innovative strategy planning for sustainable green university, University of Ruhuna in Sri Lanka. So please, Professor, the floor is yours.
Good morning to all of you, and maybe some of you are having good afternoon and evening times. Now, let me thank the organizing committee for accepting our paper. Just let you know, University of Ruhuna is in Sri Lanka in southernmost tip and is along the Silk Road. It has 366 acres of land and 10 faculties, 10,000 student internal and 20,000 external students. So we have the corporate goals in the University of Ruhuna has been aligned with sustainable development goals. We have been looking at changes matching into SDGs over the time, and looking at waste management as utilization in energy and water management over a period of time. However, we have not been able to utilize land properly, and also that is due to lack of capital. And we developed some strategies to work out public-private partnerships for two areas. One is we had a 30-acre land, which is about 12 hectares, which was handed over in a MOU for a development of multiple agricultural and energy saving products, solar power, the agricultural crops, and cinnamon oil, biochar, 6 areas of production into 6 different branches of different companies. And now we have started that, and hopefully within the next few years, we will be able to produce this and also utilize that in a friendly way for the environment, and also earn some profit and maximize profit on a profit sharing basis. And from the first year onwards, University of Ruhuna will be receiving some grants from the private sector, which is which have joined us in the development project. Second is actually landscape. Again, the same issue of capital infusion has a problem, and therefore we propose to multiple companies to take zones of land in different branches, different departments, different faculties, and develop with their companies, with their logos, landscape designed by the University of Ruhuna that is matching historical architecture developed by Jeffrey Bawa, the world-renowned architect who designed University of Ruhuna. So that we have started that, and we are moving forward during the pandemic. And we have done these two because we have not been able to get students down physically most of the time, and we have had space to utilize these services and bring in these facilities and outsourcing some of these activities and develop our university. So that's what we have done during the pandemic, in addition to what we have been doing in the past for greener university and aligning ourselves with the sustainable development goals. Thank you very much for allowing me, and I'll end my presentation with that.
Thank you, Professor. If I may ask a question, and then we can move forward. So, in your planning and future shape of seeing how your university will look, how much the pandemic has changed your, in your mind, the design on campus? And as you mentioned, it should be corresponding to the architectural principles of the past that you want to include in your vision. So how much the pandemic will impact that, and the university will look different, let's say, in the future because of these changes that have happened?
The pandemic will definitely cause a lot of changes. We have now developed this, say for example, landscape. In addition to what we have been doing, we have now allowed the students to come back into the university slowly in small groups, and they are now taking over in an organized manner, to be managed with the corporate sector and the university administration. The students are taking part in providing labor, and we can bring in large numbers now because more than 50% of the students are studying online, and therefore we are planning to increase the intakes for learning, because that has been a huge problem, that moving on to online learning in Sri Lanka, because that was not seen as a way of providing higher education to large numbers in the past. So we have succeeded in that, and therefore with the landscape planning and with students coming into the university time and contributing themselves in the change of university would be seen within the near future. And apart from that, in the 30-acre land that are being given to companies, the students will be participating in research projects, providing labor, and getting some incentives in return for their survival, their own survival, especially for economically deprived students, working in these areas and learning hands-on skills doing that. So those two things would be the major changes we'll be seeing in the post-pandemic era of the university.
Professor, I have to admit, it's very nice to hear that you will be able to take in larger numbers of students and give the possibility to learn and get higher education. I think that's very encouraging to hear. So thank you very much. I think let's move forward. If there are no immediate questions, and we will leave the floor open for more in the end of the session if we will have some time. So Professor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, so let's move forward. Next speaker we have is Dr. Emad Mustafa, representative of Chancellor, University of Sharia, United Arab Emirates, and he's going to be talking about managing US setting and infrastructure towards a livable and sustainable campus. So, Dr. Emad, please, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. It's evening here in United Arab Emirates, and it's. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you and hear you very well.
Yeah. Okay. I prepared a presentation of for 15 minutes, but I realized that the presentation should be in 4 minutes. But I'll be sharing the presentation now. I'll try to. This one. May I share my screen?
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can. Now we can see you, but currently we don't see the presentation.
Presentation, you can't see it. I already sent the presentation, my presentation.
Yes, we saw it before.
Yeah. Let me move to this. I can move my presentation here. Can you see it?
Yes, now we can.
All right, so I'll just switch off my camera. I'll go quickly. Because I use two screens, I'll be using the secondary screen. So, good evening, everyone. I'm gonna talk in a brief about the University of Sharjah, how the university is targeting sustainability, implementation of sustainability, or achieving sustainability and livability in the campus. The campus is really huge, is more than 560 acres with Islamic and Arabic architecture style. It's very linear campus, and we have a built-up area of almost 8 to 10%. The remaining is full of green grass. So the idea of sustainability was started in 2016, and then 2017 when the university wanted to engage all the students and faculty member in the sustainability office. So they created what is called sustainability circles. So those sustainability circles, a number of 30 sustainability circles, open to the students and faculty, where each faculty is a leader, or each circle is led by one faculty with working along with other faculty and students, and they have their own space in the website, and they put their KPI and their projects. So in order to achieve the sustainability, we should have a reference. So we thought of having a reference. So we applied the green metric, the scorecard, as well as the stars. And from that one, we try to understand what action plan should be taken. For livability, we have to look at user satisfaction of the students. As I told you, so we looked at our progress in all criteria in the campus. It's full of palms and Islamic style buildings. University started to, according to the action plans, started to implement new farms inside the campus. The whole activities is done by the students and faculty members. And I want to just go quick from here, as a conclusion. From the conclusion, once we went through the scorecard, we understood what we need to implement, what action plan should be taken first, and from that one, from the action plan, we understood that we need to increase the budget for sustainability. We need to increase more vegetated area, and also for livability, we have to connect all segregated buildings with one corridor. So one of the main actions done during the COVID, this corridor. This corridor is implemented by the university to be used in after COVID as a destination for students together, as faculty together. So such corridor connects all buildings. And during pandemic, we conduct exams in such corridor. So this is just in a brief. I'm sorry, I thought I have more than 4 minutes, but I try to make it in 4 or 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, due to the time limitation, I shall ask my question, and then I think we can move forward to the next speaker and see if we have some time left for additional questions. If there are no urgent questions from the participants, and my question would be: after you conducted the survey, what was the biggest surprise, or maybe that was kind of you didn't notice before the results you got from these surveys for the management? That or were there any kind of things that you found really interesting and you didn't think about before, where maybe there are some examples? And second, as I know with sustainability, and if you move in this direction, it's always costly, it costs money. So was there, and how you cope with the internal resistance, or there were none to move in this direction? And how did the staff and students went about it? Maybe you can share some inside tips on these internal matters, on making such a big, and I have to say, ambitious decisions.
Well, one of the main demands by the students that they looked at, they wanted to have more sustainability efforts, more sustainability activities in the campus. They also like the idea of having a corridor that connects the whole campus so that they can walk peacefully, and they can escape from the hot climate outside in that corridor. They like the idea of having more ATM machines, more facilities and access to be added in that corridor, and to make it a live corridor while taking into consideration the safety measures. So this is part of some of the results revealed, and we are preparing now a small article about achieving livability in the campus. Yeah.
Dr. Ahmad, thank you very much for your presentation. So let's move forward. And our final speaker is Dr. Essam Al-Zaini, representative of Chancellor El Furat Al Aswad Technical University, ATU, from Iraq. And he's going to be talking about navigation of COVID-19 pandemic and building resilience, a case study. Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Essam Zaini, Head of Translation and International Relations at Al Furat Al Aswad Technical University, Iraq. Today, I'm going to talk about navigating COVID-19 pandemic and building resilience. It's a case study of Al Furat Al Aswad Technical University. But before I get to the main point, to the main topic, please let me start with a very short story by a guy named Sean. It's a very famous story of a beautiful temple that everyone goes to take pictures of a marble statue. One day when the temple closed and everyone left, a child asked the statue, "We came from the same quarry and we are cut by the same sculptor. Why are you a statue and I a child?" The statue said, "Don't you remember? You asked for the sculptor to stop because you couldn't withstand the pain. I endured hundreds of cuts for hundreds of hours, and that's why I am a statue." In this respect, it is well known that for all of us, of course, that COVID-19 pandemic has created the largest disruption of education systems, and in particular, the higher education systems in human history. And according to Sean's story, I believe that the post-crisis higher education system will be much better and stronger than before, like Sean's story of the tile and the statue. So keeping in mind that such disruption will not be the last impact the continuity of higher education, and at which point it encourages us to think about the concept of institutional resilience. Therefore, I am going to highlight today 5 important steps undertaken by ATU University in order to make the necessary change and reconsider its beta roles and responsibilities in society. So the first step is to establish a special committee to interpret, facilitate, and apply ministerial orders and report back to the University Chancellor the readiness of their scientific facilities. The second step is to taken by the university, of course, is to set a goal of achieving an emergency reserve fund based on its annual income and expenditure. The third step is to develop an emergency contingency plan. Such a plan starts from the main chancellor site, of course, down to scientific facilities, colleges, institutes, scientific departments, and scientific labs, and end up with employee groups. And such plans are normally should be reviewed and updated by a special committee for competence, consistency, continuity assurance, and mutual compatibility, making recommendations for any needed change. And the fourth step is to develop the IT infrastructure of the university. And this includes upgrading the university internet services, install interactive smart light bulbs and make them available for lecturers and professors to teach and pre-recording their lecture, developing virtual labs, and using simulation tools during the pandemic. Step 5 is to planning to staff and students returning to ATU campuses. The plans include establishing new and renovating the existing in-campus sports stadiums, the students' accommodation buildings and their related facilities, establishing bicycle stations, for example, and in-campus media radio station also. Such projects aim to de-stress students and staff as well as encourage them to have a new healthy lifestyle. They also promote social interactions between different groups, aiming to improve the staff and students' health and wellness. ATU prepared a series of workshops that educate people on attaining healthy diets, as it could boost their mood and energy level and improve their memory and achieve a better brain function. So in conclusion, reopening and or returning to normal procedures, including partial or incremental operations, may become a challenging practice for many academic institutions. And in this respect, the current study emphasizes on 5 important steps established and implemented by Al-Farati of Technical University, which believes it could help other universities to overcome such uncertainties. These include advanced planning, locating reserved emergency funds, building emergency plans, developing the university IT infrastructure, and improving staff and students' mental health. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Assam, for your points on how you coped with the pandemic. So, if I may ask a question from my side, so at least I know in my country and my university, people are quite tired from pandemic, and I think you are very right. The resilience is very important in this aspect. To be resilient against this pandemic and against this psychological maybe tiredness of the situation. Have you noticed similar trends in Iraq? And do you have, in this regard, do you have some advice maybe how you have been dealing with these issues? If you have the same, I mean, from the staff and from the students, from these restrictions and everything.
Thank you very much for your questions. Very good question, actually. We have the same experience. We have in Iraq, actually, in the whole Iraq, all cities were experienced a lockdown for more than 2 months, fully lockdown, and people start actually suffering from such policies, actually. But it's not up to us. It's not up to our hands. It's all the whole world is suffering from this. Crisis, actually, but as a small university, and we developed many programs to help returning students and staff to the campuses, because we start actually working on dual education program, which is face-to-face and electronics. For example, the practical, experimental, or work in labs, we start in face-to-face or practical or physical presence of the students, while the theoretical subjects still on online education. So we divided the students to small groups, and we start working for extended shifts in order to cover all the expense that missed out during the city's lockdown. And this is from one side. From that, we prepared many staff to do the sports and activities, juggling, riding in Iraq that offer the students bikes, riding of bikes. The university give them the bikes and transfer between the facilities, because we got the facilities with the too far area between the facilities, so it's good to ride a bike and to maintain your physical and the students and staff physical and health in general. And also we organized many workshops and programs for students to use their hobbies, and we encourage them to do them. And we conducted some workshops and programs or short courses for that gather both students and staff to make a better connection and interaction between them, between both groups, because as you know that during the lockdown it was very hard that affect the mental health of students and staff. Some staff worrying about their jobs, some staff worried about losing loved ones, actually, and so we have to incur their mental problems and also physical lifestyle, also their lifestyle actually. Sorry.
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Osama. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Is there another question?
No, thank you. I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your answer.
Go ahead.
Dr.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your answer. So, if we have any additional last questions for participants, please make yourself known or write a question in the chat. I think we already had the possibilities to hear from all our speakers, and thank you very much for very interesting presentations, and each of you tackling different aspects of modern challenges that we have at hand in nowadays in higher education. If I see no questions, then I will say thank you also to all participants who attended and listened. So now we have 5-minute break, and after 5 minutes, next sessions will resume. So thank you very much, and have a great conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing this session.
Buenos días para todos. Estamos pendientes del inicio de la sesión 4A. Good morning for everyone. We are attending the beginning of the session 4A with some special guest professors for the conferences. 4 conferences today for this session. We are waiting for the arrival of each professor for the session.
Hey, Howard.
Professor Liu, I am seeing you. Good morning.
Morning. In my area, it is, I see, 9 p.m.
Yes, 9 p.m.
Yes.
You are up to go to sleep right now.
Yes. But because today I have moved to far place, I drive for 400 kilometers.
Good.
So I feel sometimes, but that's okay. Never mind.
You are in Taipei?
Huh?
You are in Taipei?
No, in Taichung, middle place of Taiwan.
Okay,
Taichung, middle place of Taiwan. So you have been to Taipei?
No, I never. I would like.
But you know Taipei.
It's far away from the coast.
Far away from the coast. Sorry, pardon?
The city where you are located.
It's a rural place. My university.
Okay.
Yeah. Every day I drive 6 kilometers from Taichung City to my university. It takes maybe 50 minutes.
It's near.
but Taiwan is very small.
Okay. Here we are 900 kilometers far away from the coast.
Oh, yeah.
In the center of the country. Yeah.
I shall tell you that the Taiwan, its length from top nose to bottom south is 500 kilometers only. So your place.
Okay, great. Oh, so thank you very much for your exchange, and we will begin with the session.
Yes.
I don't know if there is the Professor Amarillantu, Vice Rector of the Ponegoro University. He's ready for beginning his speaking session.
Yes, I'm here. I'm ready.
Professor, good morning, good evening, you there in Indonesia.
Yes,
it's a pleasure to have this session. I am as chairman of this session, working in the direction of the topics in the water issues and innovation for water management in universities. In the time pandemic, it was a very strong time for having efficiency at the most levels in the human being societies. So please, it will be a pleasure to listen your conference about water conservation in the Ponegoro University. Is a city near to Jakarta. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Again.
Okay, shall I start?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Thank you, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ambarianto. I'm from Diponegoro University, and as in the schedule, I'm going to talk about water conservation in my university. As for you who don't know where we are, Diponegoro University are well known as UNDIP, UNDIP, an abbreviation of Universitas Diponegoro, is located in the city called Semarang at the north coast of Central Java Island. It's approximately 45 minutes by plane from Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia. We have 11 faculties and 2 schools with more than 50,000 active students comprising undergraduate, master, doctorate, specialist, profession, and diploma programs. We have several campuses and main campus in Semarang, in the capital of Central Java, with approximately 180 hectares wide. In regard to water usage, as our university grows, both programs that we offer to incoming students and also human resources, we are predicting that the need of water will increase in parallel with the increasing activities, especially when the pandemic is over. And therefore, we set programs to conserve water within campuses and also surrounding, because we also working with communities surrounding in our campuses. I'm going to talk about several programs. The first one is water conservation. We have a water reservoir. This was built in collaboration with National River Management Board in the Ministry of Public Works. This reservoir is located within the campus, in our campus. It's not only function as flood control, but also water storage, and also function as field laboratory for our students. And this reservoir can accommodate average inundation up to 478,240 meters with a catchment area of 7.1 hectares in a river length about 7.52 kilometers with the dam body height about 22 meters.
Okay.
Apart from water reservoir, we also have ponds. Almost all faculties have ponds. Most of these ponds were intentionally built, but some of them are water spring that we keep as it is. So we use, when we built our campus, the water spring was there and we keep it that way. And the purpose is for water storage and watering plants and trees and parks and so on. We also have water rain harvesting tanks. Rain harvesting tanks were also available as alternative water sources in the campus. And every faculty has the obligation to build some kind of rainwater harvesting tanks. We also have, we built biopores, or we call it here biopori, in a large scale in our campus to sustain water supply. Our second program is what we call as how to minimize water usage. Our university has a water treatment plant located at our hospital, our university hospital. This water treatment plant is treatment system known as anaerobic wastewater treatment plant with discharge capacity about 160 meter cubic per day. And most buildings in our university have installed water efficient appliances, including high efficient toilet flush and water tap. In total, actually, we already calculated that we have 2,826 toilets spread across building in the campus area with a total of 1,554 is using what we call water efficient toilets. In addition, we also have a number of sinks, and we have 1,041 units. We calculated in one by one in every building, and with 489 automatic faucets. The third program is water treatment. Our university use several water treatment technologies such as reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, industrial wastewater treatment, also seawater desalination. And the last program is increasing awareness. Water conservation campaign mostly done by student association in collaboration with university management. We also integrated water conservation into curriculum in some courses. As I mentioned, we also working with communities in surrounding our campuses through community services programs conducted by our academic staffs, or through student field works programs that student has to do it at least in the last year of their study in our campus.
Professor Ambarijanto, 1 minute.
Yes, I'm almost there. During pandemic, we use water. The use of water is decreasing significantly, I think, because almost no students are in campus, and only those who has to conduct research in the laboratory and so on. This is also the same in the case of our academics. but we don't have the exact number yet because right now it's in the middle of collecting the information and data. Especially we are interested in the year 2021 because in 2020 last year, we still have offline courses. So right now everything is online. I think that's all I can say in 4 minutes. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ambarillanto. It's a pleasure to listen to you as director of the Universitas Diponegoro in Indonesia. And now we have the Professor Patricia Iglesias, Chief Executive Officer of CETESB and Professor of the University of Sao Paulo in Brazil. Good morning, good morning for us, good evening for everyone. And the implementation of the SDG in the environmental company of Sao Paulo. It's a pleasure to see you, Professor Patricia.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you, Dr. Jan. And also, it's really a pleasure to be again at the Green Metric International Workshop at this time. So I'm talking a little bit about CETESB. CETESB is the environmental company in the state of São Paulo, Brazil. São Paulo is the most industrialized state in Brazil. So we have a lot of issues taking in consideration the environmental protection. And CETESB is responsible for one of the most important tools of this protection in São Paulo. We work working during 53 years. So it's an old company, and we license a lot of new enterprises in the state of São Paulo. The license process is essential for assuring pollution control, and that's the point we work nowadays. With this in mind, we developed a strategy which includes several environmental monitoring indicators, similar we do inside the universities. And the partnerships also with the private sector and the dissemination of good practices related to all the objectives. The idea, as we see in the SDG 17, is to put together, to have partnerships between the private sector, the public sector, and also the academia. As a result, nowadays, we just signed in July a first specific MOU about the SDGs with the Brazilian Association of the Industry of Alkali, Chlorine and Derivatives, aiming to establish voluntary targets in reducing environmental impacts in the production. The idea is not look only inside CETESB, but to also look for the other companies that we take care in our state. 60% of the chemical activities in Brazil are in the state of São Paulo. So it's quite important to have this kind of initiative, not only controlling the activities, but also working together with the companies and giving support for them to achieve what we need in the environmental protection and reducing the problems we have in the environmental area. Related to the SDG 6, we license two projects for public water supply, and we monitor surface, underground, and coastal water reservoirs, and report the quality of the beaches in our state. We do this kind of work since the 7th of the last century. So we have all the data about this work in our state. And another point that's very, very interesting is that our company is also a school. So we have a school inside the company. And in 2013, we formally created the CETESB Sensolato Postgraduate School, with the mission of providing the construction and dissemination of knowledge developed and consolidated with the scope of the company competencies and activities. So nowadays we are a center for the Stockholm Convention, and we take care not only in Brazil, but also in Latin America and in Portuguese-speaking countries, forming and working with these countries, giving some courses and forming people that can work in prevention of pollution in Brazil. The capacity...
Professor Patricia,
Yes.
we are about to finish your time. Please complete.
Yes. The idea, just to close, is that the capacity building internally and externally has always been understood as an strategic activity inside CETESB. And what we see now is that the challenges are enormous, especially in a country as Brazil. Brazil is a continental country. So the environmental company of São Paulo has been making the SDGs as her own goals, bringing this agenda, the 2030 agenda, as an internal agenda, and also work in partnership with the academia and also with the private sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Patricia. We will have a lot of questions that we will do for you all at the end of the presentations. So this is the time for Professor Zikeva, Rector of the University of Kazakhstan. You're welcome. And we want to listen about the study of the physical-chemical properties of polymers, reagents, and their use of flocculants, a very interesting topic that we need in tropic region. Please, Professor Desenkowa, we are ready for listening to you. Professor Desenkowa, are you there? Okay. Let's begin with the Professor Ziad Ali Husnain, Vice Chancellor of the University of Faisalabad in Pakistan. Are you ready for speaking?
Hello, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It's a pleasure to see you. You're welcome, and we are developing this topic of the water in this session. Please begin. You have 4 minutes for speaking. The beginning.
Yes. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to present here in international conference. My topic for the presentation is estimating the rainwater harvesting potential in order to conserve water at our campus, which is located in the city of Faisalabad in Pakistan. The main issue is water scarcity behind that. If I talk about Pakistan, the population growth rate is about 2%, and urbanization and population growth is causing water scarcity in the country, keeping an eye on the goal of sixth SDG goal of clean water and sanitation. It was decided that we should play our part in order to improve the society by estimating how much water we can conserve at our campus, and also we can what system should we adopt in order to conserve that water. For that purpose, we have conducted a survey. As we know that the rooftop water, if we conserve the rooftop water, it will be better in quality. So what we have done, we have calculated the rooftop area. After that, we have taken into consider the rainfall data from 1981 till 2021, and we estimated the runoff after considering the losses that can be through evaporation or some other losses. And after that, we have calculated total volume of water that we can conserve by using the rainwater harvesting technique. And for that purpose, we can go for the underground water tanks. We are planning that, and we can go for the underground water tank. If that tank can overflow, we can also install a groundwater recharging well for that, so that overflow water can move to the recharging well. So by doing this activity, we can save around 20 to 25% of water, which is 20 to 25% of total usage of water at the campus. So at last, I will ask all the audience listening to me that please save water wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Husnain. Very interesting topic. And the last speaker of this session, in order to present our topics, is Professor Chung Liu, Representative President of the National Chinan University in Chinese Taipei. NCNU use reclaimed water to recreate a habitat for butterflies to enhance campus ecological friendship. It's a very interesting topic because the circular ecology it has to be implemented in each of our campuses, and this translation and transition of these topics is very in this direction. Good morning, Professor Chu Ling.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
it's a pleasure
thank you,
to see you again.
Mero, and then ladies and gentlemen. Okay, okay. I think I assume that all of you have seen my films or see my PPT, so I just explain why we do this project. When I joined the NCNU at 26 years ago, I found it is a wonderful place with many creatures, such as I see many birds, or egrets, eagles, and the sea spider, jackals, rabbit, wild rabbits, and the snakes. You can see it, and the pangolin recently many. So, because our campus was originally a farm producing cattle forage, so it is a wild field. So I can see many bees waving its wing, so you can hear its sound from up the trees. However, I can hardly to see a butterfly on campus. Very, very strange. This annoying me for a long time until I know, because our campus was in lack of herbivorous and the nectar-rich plants. Therefore, some years later, we plant such trees and the bushes elsewhere around our campus, so we can see butterflies frequently. Then I have just moved to the campus 26 years ago. Okay, about 3 years ago, we at CNU have conducted a university social responsibility project. This project mainly concerned industry promotion of water bamboo, so a long-term care for elderly and disabled, and air pollution issue, or for cultural revival or river conservation and wetland conservation and the talent cultivation for coffee industry and some environmental education, biological conservation, and so on. So this report mainly sub-project to enhance the friendliness of our campus. We wish to use to apply our reclaimed water, which comes from water treatment factory. Basically, they are used to irrigate the plant, but till that, we think we should use this water and to water. We construct a butterfly habitat. This will gather more and more butterfly species, and we can cooperate with local community residents, and we can use this place as a course and activities place for students. And finally, we can, with a return from all the participants. So we're doing that. You use the 4 stage. First, we make a survey on 2018 to discover, make a survey about the butterfly. And we know we have 122 species. This was first survey. And then we, from 2019 to 2020, we begin to create a butterfly habitat. In fact, we create a 4 circle. If you see my PPT, you can know 4 circles. And this was begin with 3 initially course by advanced professor and collaborate with the local residents. We build the initial butterfly habitat, and then we built herbivorous and the nectar rich bush. So this was second stage, and then we launched 6 courses for students, and for some activity we make experiential activity and the narrator training, such that we get the final response from the audience, from the participants. Mainly we got 4.78 points, but over 5 points. So and the final
the time is about to end.
Yes, I in fact I have end, and I wish you to see my PPT for the last film. It's about 1 minute film. Okay, that's finished. Thank you very much.
Anyway, I would like to let this time for sharing our experiences in around this topic that is very important, this exchange of the dialogue between all cultures. Yes. Our cultures that are so different but so near in water. The water of our universities is the main ingredient for having the university functioning. So what's your opinion about the use of water during the pandemic period? Have you detected, as we a diminished quantity of consumption, obviously, because all the students were in their home, but now that they are arriving again, how is happening? How are you managing this topic? And one thing that is very important, the water of the university's efficiency consumption is about the measure and the control of the quantity of the consumption. How do you think about it, this, please? Professor Patricia, for example.
Yes, it's too long for me.
Yes. Can I
please,
add?
Professor Patricia.
Yes. Okay. So what I can say nowadays in São Paulo, we are in the winter. So at the time in Brazil, we have in the winter we have a drought, and this is a problem we are just working to reduce the consumption of water. And also we are working a lot with some new enterprise that can give the quantity of water we need for the population. But what I can add during the pandemic is that the CETESB, the environmental company of the state, we have 18 laboratories inside the company. And one thing we could do that was very, very important to take care of the pandemic was that we have one of our laboratories that could contribute monitoring the SARS-CoV-2 in the sewage. So the idea was to see in each part of the cities where we had more contamination of the SARS-CoV. And this activity has been carried out as a supplementary tool. We do this kind of activity in another epidemiological problems, like we do in cholera, in poliomyelitis, in hepatitis, and then we started to do this also in SARS-CoV-2 to see in each part of the city. And we could see that in the communities like favelas, we had more problems because they have less access to water, less access to products of soap and things like this. So they had to take bus to go to the work. They couldn't stay in quarantine. So they had more problems in contamination with the SARS-CoV. And we've done this kind of work with the area of health of the state. So they could also monitor the dissemination of the pandemic. And this was very important for the state.
Thank you, Professor Patricia. We wanted to know about the experience of Professor Ambarillanto in Diponegoro, Indonesia, with the water. What do you think? What do you detect in the pandemic period about the consumption and the use of water?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, that we have more than 50,000 active students, and almost all of them right now in their home. So in terms of saving waters, for example, if I use one person 10 liters per day, for example, we already save more than 550,000 liters already, because only less than 10% of our staff is in the campus every day. So in terms of saving water, but we are in the middle of calculating so that we can have exact numbers, but for rough calculation, maybe it's a huge number of water that we already save. But at the moment, we are in the middle of approaching in the middle of dry season. So less raining right now. And so for the rain harvesting right now is the tank is almost empty. So we hope that in the rainy season, we can use rainwaters as well.
Okay, we detected during the pandemic period here in Colombia, in Bogota, for example, an increase of the activity in the surrounding ecosystems that produces a lot of water here. So we can have cascades, renewable cascades in the mountains of the city. Do you have this situation, Professor Husnain, in Pakistan in this period, or something different in the period of pandemic?
Professor, during the pandemic, we're here in Pakistan, there was like when the lockdown was here, lockdown was implemented, So we had to ask the students to leave the campus and they can study from home. So obviously that usage of water become low at the campus. But if I talk about over the country, that can only be estimated roughly. But in the campus, what we have decided, we were observing that a lot of water is being wasted to the drain pipes, which is coming from the roofs. So we decided, why not we should plan a system in which we can save some water, and we can implement this specific proposal at the campus before the start of the semester. When the students will be back, it will be difficult to construct it and build it and everything. So what we have measured that we can save about 1,300 cubic meters of water if we have the system over here in the campus, and this is a huge amount of water.
Okay, so here, Professor Liu, you had told me about the use. You have told us about the use of these butterflies for having the interaction with the water, and during the control of pandemic issues, we have the opportunity to use these butterflies or some other insects to control the viruses and the infections that we detected here in Colombia. We have detected a lot of infections provening from viruses and from other agents in the ecosystem. What do you think about?
I think in the pandemic, for our effect is when you see, or when I see my colleagues in my campus, we always use this. Use because now I was at home, so I put off my mask. Okay. In fact, I know the butterfly, the amount of butterfly depends on its food. Its food is some nectar-rich plants and herbivorous. So herbivorous plants. So we plant about more than 700 these plants around our habitat. So even in in this year, in the beginning of this year, Taiwan are very in lack of water. So we can use very less water every day. However, we have the reclaimed water from the plants. So we use this water to water this plant. So the plants are goes very well, and therefore again many butterflies are attracted to our habitat, even in such a dry season. And for and for the water conservation, in fact, our university makes some water pump or storage under our building. So we collect the water rain to storage water, and we can use this water during this dry season. In fact, and recently, just maybe 1 month before, several two typhoons just across our Taiwan, so we get much rain, and now this water storage are full, and we can further use this. So I think even in pandemic or not, we should use as many as method to storage you can be water that can be used later, and we should use maybe just that.
Okay, Professor Lee, very interesting. A final comment for this session, please, professors. We begin with Professor Amarillanto.
Thank you. Again, I think it is very important for us to think about about how to conserve water, and not only in the pandemic era, actually, especially during non-pandemic era, how we can actually provide or establish technology or way to conserve water, not only in our campus, but also more importantly in the community surrounding. Because if we only doing in our campus, we are not telling our other community in our surrounding campus, and so it's not very useful. But it's very important to actually working together with, for example, in our case, we are working with the local community and also local government to have a program, especially in not only in water conservation, but part of it is water conservation. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Dear Professor Patricia, I have a question. How Mato Grosso region has influenced the change of climate in there, in Sao Paulo region? I know I have the privilege to know, but I know that it's very interesting to know how it's changing the situation there during this pandemic period.
What I can say is that not only Mato Grosso, but also Amazon in general, the problem is when we have burns, and we have this in both regions. So this kind of situation can affect not only São Paulo, but all the other cities and regions. And last year, during the pandemic, we have a black day in São Paulo, like black. It was like a night. And in the day after, when we take some parts of the vegetation, we saw parts of burning. And the problem was in Mato Grosso. That's very far away from São Paulo. So what we can see is really that climate change is not a problem in one part of the world. And we don't have frontiers. We have one world. So we have to work not only in Brazil as a total, as a country, but also in cooperation with the other countries. Now in Brazil and in the state of São Paulo, we are working a lot to cooperate with the companies to reduce the emissions. And we think this is a point, control the pollution by companies, but also control the burnings in our country. And we have to work a lot, as I can talk about our point here, in the SDG 17. In what I think we have to work together, we have to work in partnerships to get the solutions.
Yes, as probably you know, the rain season that we have in Bogota, it is depending from the water that is coming by evaporation from Amazonas, and before of this from Mato Grosso and all the region. So everything is interacting, and we cannot work alone, and we have to go to work with the protection of all the ecosystems in the regions. I suppose that this is happening too in the part of Pakistan and India and Afghanistan. Professor Husnain, I wanted to use these last minutes in order to know that for us, is very interesting about what is happening with the climate in the Pakistan region and the part of India and Afghanistan. What do you think about?
Professor, as you know, that these countries are developing countries, and our urban areas are more like the facilities for a common man are more in urban areas than rural areas. So most of the people, like in order to avail these facilities, uh, migrate from the rural areas to the urban areas. That's why the water issues is being raised in the urban areas. This situation is common in Afghanistan, India, and our neighboring countries. Also, the global warming is the global issue, actually. So, what initiative Pakistan is taking presently, also our Prime Minister have described this in the United Nations, that we are going to plant billion trees. So we have already planted trees in the northern areas of Pakistan, and presently we have a 10 billion trees target for the next 2 to 3 years in Pakistan. Similarly, India is also taking some initiatives, and presently I cannot suggest any, like I cannot tell about the future situation of Afghanistan after the present situations in the country.
Okay, thank you very much. As you know, probably the butterflies are the indicator of the health of the ecosystems. Garcia Marquez, our writer, wrote about the yellow butterflies. We have to take care of these butterflies. In Brazil, there are places, for example, in the south, in which the butterflies are as lot as you cannot imagine and we cannot breathe. Patricia, you know, if this is the future, we can take the future. We can take care of the future, and all the world is connected between us. Thank you very much for having this session, for giving us the time for sharing, and for preparing the next session for all the people in this wonderful workshop in the UI Grimetric. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the closing ceremony. Professor Dr. Muhammad Roslan Sulaiman, Vice Chancellor, University Putra Malaysia. Professor Insinyur T.S. Dr. Noka Maria Nordin, Project Leader, Malaysia Sustainable Campus Network, MySun. Professor Dr. Insinyur Riri Fitrisari, Chairperson, UI Green Metric. Dr. Nyoman Suwalta, Vice Chair of Administration, Research and Development, UI Green Metric. Assistant Professor Junaidi, Vice Chair of Program, Communication and Partnership, UI Green Metric. University leaders and all participants of the 7th workshop on UI Green Metric World University Rankings. After discussions and deliberations among 600 plus participants from many parts of the world on issues and innovations ranging from setting infrastructure management, energy and climate change, to education and research management in universities in the time of pandemic, among other things, we have come to the final day of the 7th International Virtual Workshop on UI Green Metric World University Rankings. To continue with our program tonight, we invite Dr. Chan Xian Tai, President, National Pingtung University of Science and Technology, Chinese Taipei, to present his report with us, as Taiwan will be the host of IWGM 2022.
Okay. Hello, my dear friend. My name is Chang Xian Tai. I'm the president of the National Pingtung University of Science and Technology, Taiwan. It is our great honor to host the next year's meeting. Yeah. And sorry, have you heard? Okay, I think because in this year and the last year we only can have the virtual meeting, and I do hope the next year we can get together in Taiwan so we can see each other physically. So I do wish the pandemic can stop, and next year we can see you in Taiwan. Taiwan is an island located in the east southern part of mainland China, and its area is nearly the size of the Netherlands. And our campus is located in the Pingtung County, which is in the southern part of Taiwan. If you want to travel to Taiwan, we have the two international airports. The largest one is the Taipei Airport. They have many airlines can have the direct flight. Also, there are many airlines in Asia. They can direct fly to Kaohsiung. Kaohsiung is very nearly to our campus. If you fly to Taipei, you can take the high-speed train, and the distance is 350 kilometers, but only take the high-speed train only 90 minutes. And or you can transfer the airplane in Hong Kong. Hong Kong to Kaohsiung is only 1 hour and 15 minutes. Yeah. So the traffic is very convenient. Yeah. And we will stay in the Kaohsiung City. Kaohsiung City is a beautiful harbor city. And we will stay in the Grand Hanlai Hotel. This is a very famous 5-star luxury hotel in Kaohsiung. And its front part is a famous department store in Kaohsiung. And we already get a very good deal. That is every night is less than $100. And okay, now I have a very short film to introduce the Kaohsiung. This lady is a very famous badminton player in Taiwan. Actually, he's still ranking #1 in the world for the badminton ball. Yeah. Besides the Kaohsiung City tour, we also arranged 2 local tours. You can choose to visit the largest Buddha museum in the world, or you can visit our National Palace Museum. There are many fine art and the date can back more than 3,000 years ago. Now back to the business. The meeting were held in our campus. Yeah, we have a beautiful campus, and the total area is nearly 300 hectares. And this is a short film to introduce our university. Okay, besides the meeting, we also arranged to visit our new facility. You see, our university is featured in the agriculture. We developed many sensor and machine for the intelligent agriculture. Of course, to operate this kind of instrument, we need energy. So we combine different kind of the renewable energy, including the PV module on the solar thermal energy, wind energy, bioenergy, and collect together and store this energy. And we just built in our circular economic center and to use this energy to recharge the manned and unmanned intelligent vehicle developed by our faculty. that will be very interesting. And another thing is our professor also help our local government to construct an artificial lake near our campus. This lake not only can store the flood water for the dry season use, but also can solve the problem of the land subsidence for the near shore area in Pindong County. Another project is underwater for water reserve. That is, we are building this reserve under the river so that it can store the water during the rain season, and we can pump the water to use for the dry season. So if you are interested in the water management, you can also see this project, and we can share our experience. Okay, that is the feature of the next year conference. Of course, there are still many more features waiting you explore. So welcome you. Hope see you next year.
Thank you, Dr. Chang. I'm sure everyone is excited to be in beautiful Taiwan next year, Dr. Chang. So we'll see you in next year. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives us great honor to invite Professor Dr. Muhammad Ruslan Sulaiman, Vice Chancellor, University Putra Malaysia, to deliver the closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you very much, Madam Iza. Assalamualaikum and very good evening. Greeting to Professor Insinyur Dr. Nur Kamariah Nordin, Project Leader, Malaysia Sustainable Campus Network, my son. Professor Dr. Insinyur Riri Fitri Sari, Chairperson, UI Green Metric. Dr. Yoman Suwarta, Vice Chair of Administration, Research and Development, UI Green Metric. Assistant Professor Junaidi, Vice Chair of Program, Communication and Partnership, UI Green Metric. Fellow university leaders and all participants, the 7th workshop on UI Green Metric World University Rankings. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that all of you have well done through the 3-day symposium. It's my great pleasure that you had fruitful discussion, though I think 3 days is not enough. In this year's symposium, whose main theme was universities, UI Green Metric and SDGs in the time of pandemic, I observed your excellent presentation and active discussion. So I can conclude that the purpose of the seminar has been completely accomplished. I would like to pay my deep respect to all the participants for your positive participation in the symposium. I hope that what you have learned through this symposium will help you a lot in your duties and lead to the sustainability in the future. Finally, on behalf of the University Putra Malaysia, I would like to express my appreciation to all the participants for taking time out of your busy duties to attend the seminar, and to all your organization for sending excellent participants to the seminar. May this conference and all its participants receive blessing from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Hope to see you in Pintong, Taiwan next year. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And now, with great pleasure, we invite Professor Riri Fitrisari, Chairperson of UI Green Metric, to deliver her closing speech.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Greetings from Jakarta. It has been a full 3 days full of discussion and a lot of meaningful lesson we learned from many of us. And I'm so happy to meet so many of us who have come from time to time to our conference and still doing it for the betterment of our universities worldwide. I'm so happy that during this meeting, we can actually feel the way our students learn now. At the same time, I have 4 gadgets now, three. I've been in 3. I've seen you visiting the YouTube channel, and then how we have been discussing many things in great detail. And I've been seeing many of us have been going from one step to another step, such as tonight I've seen my friends Patricia, who has been the national coordinator for Brazil, but now she's in charge of many for the company working for sustainability in Brazil. And many of us have been going up in the ladder, but still doing a lot of work for the betterment of our planet. So, but it's now, we learned so many things, but tonight, President Vice Chancellor Roslan already told us that we have been seeing how all of us have been very committed in attending this meeting online. And I'm sure that some of you also already been visiting the videos that have been prepared very, very well and detailed. And also the papers have been prepared, and we are going to produce a journal for that or a conference proceeding for that. And also, I think we have done a lot of things, making sure that we are going to make all of this lesson learned from other universities worldwide, from all 30 countries actually represented by the speakers. And we see so many things that have been presented by Professor Tai. President Tai has been the most supportive president from the beginning of UI Green Metric Network, and he has been preparing many detailed things for us. Hopefully that we will be able to see how Taiwan universities actually real also agricultural universities in Taiwan, just like UPM, which was also pertanian, was also in agriculture. I would like to call Pak Junaidi. He is the man behind all of this transformation to digital age. Pak Junaidi would like to say something to the participants for next year. Pak Junaidi, would you like to say hello? Okay, next one is Pak Tommy Ilyas. Could you just say hello, Professor Tommy Ilyas? He is our expert member. We cannot hear you, Pak. Yeah.
Hello for everyone. See you next year in Taiwan. Hopefully we can gather together there, and if not, maybe we can do the hybrid. Maybe some of us can go there, and some still using an online system. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy that you are surviving from COVID-19 last week. So, Alhamdulillah, yeah. I would like to call Professor Gunawan Cahyono also, our you just say hello, Gunawan.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Okay. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, all university leaders, president, vice chancellor, all university ability officers, any friends who have been who have chaired all the exciting conference agenda tonight. I thank all of you for organizing and helping to make sure that we learn together and achieve more in our function in our university, and making sure that the next generation will be prepared for all the disruption in this world, and we are going to make the best in our universities. ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to thank Pak Roslan, President Roslan in UPM, Ibu Professor Azmawani, Abdul Rahman, and all friends in University Putra Malaysia who have made this event a successful event. And we hope that all us information more on your collaboration in your countries, and then we can make more and more activities on top of this. Once again, thank you everyone, and really nice to meet all of you. Keep up well and stay safe. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, Prof. Riri.
Thank you, Prof. Prof. Ruslan.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you in Taiwan.
Thank you.
Taiwan.
Thank you. See you in Taiwan next year.
Thank you, Professor Riri. And now
yes,
we come to the part where we create memory. Yeah, usually we take photographs, in person, but it looks like this time it will be done virtually. So can I have everyone to have your cameras on so that we can see your faces, and our technical team will take photographs of each of the frames. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can we see your faces?
Okay. Smiling.
Smiling. Yeah, I think they are taking a frame by frame. I mean, there are 5 altogether here, so it should take some time. Yeah. So, and in the meantime, we just smile.
We keep smiling.
Yeah, we keep smiling.
Okay, second last page. Okay, last one. Can you guys do some thumbs up?
Oh, thumbs up.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with that, the IWGM 2021 has officially come to an end. Though IWGM 2021 has ended, our quest for a sustainable environment and efforts in promoting sustainability on campuses continues. We wish to thank our distinguished guests for your presence today, and the participants for their perseverance and commitment. Congratulations to the organizing committee for a job well done. And we also would like to apologize for any shortcomings experienced during this workshop. Thank you, everyone. Till we meet again in Taiwan 2022, and hopefully this time we will actually get to see each other in person. So in the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Iza. Thank you.
Terima kasih Pak Roslan. Terima kasih Pak Junaidi.
Sama-sama. Terima kasih semua. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jumpa lagi.
Professor Tai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jumpa di Taiwan.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Jumpa di Pitung, Taiwan.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.